There's a face in my stomach. I was never one for horror stories. Ghosts, demons, and haunted houses were all just cheap thrills to me, fabricated to scare kids and sell movies. But what happened to me was something else. It was real, and it was terrifying. It started with an itch, a dull, nagging itch just above my navel. I scratched at it absent-mindedly, thinking it was nothing more than a bug bite or a rash. But over the next few days, it got worse. The skin there felt different, almost alive. Then, one night, I felt something move. I was lying in bed, my fingers absent-mindedly rubbing the irritated spot on my stomach when I felt it shift beneath my skin. My breath caught in my throat. It wasn't the usual muscle twitch or stomach cramp. This was something else, something unnatural. I rushed to the bathroom and lifted my shirt. My skin looked normal, perhaps a bit red from my scratching, but nothing else seemed off. I sighed, convincing myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. But deep down, I knew better. The first glimpse. The next morning, I woke to a dull pain in my abdomen. When I pulled up my shirt, I nearly screamed. A small bulge had formed just above my navel, pushing outward slightly, as if something was pressing against my skin from the inside. Panic surged through me. Was it a tumor? A cyst? I ran my fingers over it, feeling its hardness. It pulsed under my touch. And then, it blinked. I stumbled back, my hands trembling. I had seen it, a flash of something dark, like an eyelid snapping shut just as I touched it. My heart pounded. My mind scrambled for a logical explanation, but there was none. I needed help. I needed a doctor. The doctor's doubt. Dr. Patel was a calm, rational man. He listened to my panicked explanation, nodding occasionally before asking me to lift my shirt. I obeyed, barely able to look at the thing on my stomach. But as I did, the bulge was gone. My skin looked normal again. Smooth, ordinary. "There's nothing there," he said, his voice gentle but firm. "Perhaps you were experiencing muscle spasms, or maybe—" "No," I interrupted. "I saw it. It blinked. It moved." Dr. Patel offered me a sympathetic smile. Stress can do strange things to the body, especially when we fixate on something. "I'll prescribe a mild sedative, and if the symptoms persist, come back and we'll do an ultrasound." I left his office feeling like a lunatic. Maybe he was right. Maybe I was imagining things. Maybe it was all in my head. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. The face emerges. That night, I woke to a strange sensation. My stomach felt warm, tingling in a way that sent shivers up my spine. I hesitated before looking down, afraid of what I might see. The bulge had returned, but this time it was larger, and it had a mouth. My skin stretched unnaturally as a pair of lips formed just below my ribs. They quivered, then parted slightly, revealing dark, wet flesh inside. My breath caught in my throat. I pressed my fingers against the grotesque shape, trying to convince myself it was a hallucination. But then, it spoke. "Let me out." I screamed. The descent into madness. I spent the next few days in a haze of terror. I barely ate, barely slept. Every time I looked at my stomach, the face seemed more defined. The lips fuller, the eyes deeper, more human. It whispered to me, its voice slithering into my thoughts no matter how hard I tried to block it out. "You can't keep me in here forever. I need air. I need out." I punched at it, clawed at my own flesh, but nothing helped. I even considered slicing it open, but the moment I held the knife to my skin, the voice cooed, "That won't work. I won't let you." I collapsed to the floor, sobbing. I was losing my mind. This wasn't real. It couldn't be real. But it was. The horrifying truth. Desperate, I locked myself in my apartment, refusing to see anyone. My phone buzzed with worried texts from friends, but I ignored them. I needed to figure out what was happening to me. Then, one night, I woke up in agony. A searing pain tore through my stomach as the face stretched wider, its lips peeling back in a grotesque smile. My skin split open, and something began to emerge. A hand! A withered, claw-like hand pushed its way through my flesh, grasping, writhing. I screamed, the pain blinding me. Blood soaked my sheets as more of the creature fought its way free. "Thank you," it rasped, its voice echoing in my head. I wanted to run. I wanted to fight, but my body wouldn't move. I could only watch as it pulled itself out of me. It was me, or at least it looked like me, a twisted, skeletal version of myself with sunken eyes and a grin too wide for its face. It knelt beside me, touching my cheek with cold, clammy fingers. "I've been trapped for so long," it whispered. "But now, you take my place." Darkness swallowed me whole. The final horror. When I woke, I wasn't in my apartment. I wasn't anywhere. I was trapped. I could hear my own voice, but it wasn't mine. It was coming from outside. I could feel my body moving, but I wasn't controlling it. I was inside something, inside him. And then I realized I was the face in the stomach now, and no one could hear me scream.